As President-elect Donald Trump prepares to return to the White House, his cabinet nominations have already sent shockwaves through political and public circles. From vaccine skeptic Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to outspoken Congressman Matt Gaetz, Trump's choices have sparked intense debate. The message from Trump is clear: I'm coming after you. Trump is aiming to challenge the Washington establishment. But are his cabinet picks more extreme than his 2016 selections? And how do they reflect the direction of his administration? Let's try to find out. The hub of activity for picking cabinet members has been at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, where the president-elect is building his inner circle with both familiar and new allies, including Elon Musk. Musk was notably present on Wednesday when Trump met with House Republicans in Washington. Trump quipped about Musk's growing involvement, humorously remarking that he couldn't shake off the billionaire innovator, whom he appointed as a co-leader for the newly envisioned Department of Government Efficiency. Unlike the scene at Trump Tower in 2016, where candidates paraded past the media before heading up the iconic elevators to meet Trump, Mar-a-Lago operates without the spotlight of cameras. This transition process contrasts sharply with 2016, when Trump dismissed former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie's detailed transition plan and started afresh. This time, conservative think tanks and Trump's transition team have worked extensively to finalize key personnel and prepare day-one policies, ensuring a more organized approach. And a few names are creating more buzz than expected, starting with his selection for Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr. In 2016, Trump appointed Tom Price, a critic of Obamacare, who was later replaced by Alex Azar, a former pharmaceutical executive, raising concerns about Big Pharma's influence. However, Trump has learned from his past experiences, and the nomination of RFK Jr. proves this. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination as Secretary of Health and Human Services is undeniably one of the most controversial picks in Trump's cabinet lineup for 2024. RFK is a prominent vaccine skeptic. He has been criticized for amplifying unfounded claims linking vaccines to autism, HIV denialism, and bizarre theories about antidepressants and herbicides. Critics argue that his appointment could undermine the credibility of critical health agencies like the CDC and FDA, especially when trust in these institutions is pivotal. On the other hand, RFK Jr.'s nomination aligns strategically with Trump's political base. Many Trump supporters have embraced anti-establishment and anti-mandate rhetoric, especially during the pandemic. The broader question is whether Kennedy's views and the potential policy shifts could isolate moderate voters or foster a populist movement centered on medical freedom and skepticism of government oversight. His nomination represents a clash between public health priorities and the political calculus of appealing to a polarized electorate. As the Senate deliberates on his confirmation, the outcome will shape health policy and offer a litmus test for Trump's broader governance strategy in his second term. Moving to the nomination of Secretary of Defense. In 2016, Trump appointed James Mattis to this position. He was seen as a stabilizing force in Trump's administration. Despite his strong credentials, he resigned after clashing with Trump over defense policies. However, in 2024, Trump nominated Pete Hegseth, a National Guard veteran and Fox News host known for criticizing woke military policies. Pentagon officials are reportedly stunned, questioning Hegseth's managerial experience overseeing an $800 billion defense budget. The nomination of Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense has sparked significant backlash regarding his qualifications and potential impact on the Pentagon. Critics argue that Hegseth's lack of senior managerial experience could hinder his ability to lead an organization as complex as the Pentagon. His focus on culture wars rather than strategic military priorities may further polarize defense policy discussions. Some analysts worry this could lead to an erosion of institutional norms and morale within the armed forces. On the other hand, Trump supporters view Hegseth as a disruptor who could challenge entrenched systems in the Pentagon, potentially leading to reforms that align with Trump's policy goals, such as reducing international military engagements and reevaluating defense spending. Hegseth's strong media presence might also help him communicate these policies effectively to the public and Trump's political base. The decision reflects a broader tension in Trump's approach to defense policy, balancing traditional military strategies with populist political appeals. But who is Trump's new Secretary of State? Donald Trump's choice of Rex Tillerson, the CEO of ExxonMobil, as Secretary of State in 2016 sparked controversy. Experts raised alarms about Tillerson's close ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin, stemming from ExxonMobil's substantial dealings in Russia and Tillerson's receipt of Russia's Order of Friendship Award in 2013. Despite his corporate acumen, Tillerson struggled with diplomacy and often clashed with Trump over major foreign policy issues, such as the Iran nuclear deal and U.S. relations with NATO allies. His tenure ended in March 2018 after Trump dismissed him via Twitter and replaced him with Mike Pompeo. Trump's nomination of Senator Marco Rubio for Secretary of State in 2024 represents a stark shift. Rubio, a former Trump critic turned ally, brings a hawkish foreign policy approach that aligns closely with Trump's America First agenda. Rubio's experience as a long-serving senator and his focus on China and Latin America suggest he could stabilize and modernize U.S. diplomacy. However, his aggressive stance on global adversaries and unwavering support for military action might escalate tensions, raising concerns about potential overreach. Whether Rubio can strike a balance between assertiveness and diplomacy will determine the success of his tenure. But what about Trump's Attorney General pick? In 2016, Jeff Sessions, a polarizing figure, clashed with Trump over the Justice Department's independence and was ultimately dismissed. In 2024, a loyal Trump supporter, Matt Gaetz, faces backlash over past investigations and accusations, though he denies wrongdoing. Critics have labeled his nomination the worst in American history, citing concerns about his qualifications and respect for the rule of law. Gaetz's path to confirmation hinges on overcoming his reputation and addressing doubts about his qualifications. Whether his loyalty to Trump can offset widespread criticism remains uncertain. Next is the choice of National Security Advisor. In 2016, Michael Flynn's brief tenure ended in a scandal over misleading the administration about Russian communications. This time, Trump picked Congressman Mike Waltz, a Green Beret and China critic. Experts argue that Waltz may represent a more conventional choice. He emphasizes readiness for potential conflicts, especially in Asia. His criticism of woke military priorities and focus on potential conflicts in Asia could resonate with Trump's base, but might raise concerns about escalating global tensions. Waltz's pragmatic expertise may bring stability, yet his hawkish tendencies could shape a more aggressive foreign policy. Moving next to the selection of Tulsi Gabbard as the Director of National Intelligence. In 2016, Dan Coats, a conservative voice, clashed with Trump on critical intelligence issues before being fired. Tulsi Gabbard's nomination as Director of National Intelligence has sparked significant debate. Critics argue that her limited intelligence experience and skepticism of traditional intelligence agencies might undermine the effectiveness of national security operations. Former intelligence officials have expressed concerns about the potential weakening of institutional frameworks, particularly during global instability. However, Gabbard's unorthodox views and alignment with Trump's policies could resonate with a segment of his base, appealing to those favoring a reformist approach to intelligence station. While Gabbard's approach might offer fresh perspectives, her lack of experience and contentious positions will likely raise opportunities and risks for national security. Next is the Secretary of Homeland Security. In 2016, John Kelly, a retired Marine general and highly respected figure, was confirmed as Secretary of Homeland Security. His profound expertise in Latin American issues and border security brought credibility to the role. However, he later clashed with Trump, reflecting tensions between his professional experience and the administration's direction. For 2024, Kristi Noem represents a starkly different choice. As South Dakota's governor, she gained national attention for resisting COVID-19 mandates and vocal support for strict border controls. However, her track record has raised eyebrows, particularly over personal admissions, such as controversial comments about past actions like euthanizing family pets. This has led to scrutiny regarding her judgment and suitability for a role overseeing critical security operations. Noem's nomination hinges on whether her tough stance on immigration can energize Trump's base and reassure lawmakers prioritizing border security. Critics argue that her lack of federal-level security experience and lingering controversies might create distractions, potentially undermining confidence in her leadership during Senate confirmation. Ultimately, her success will depend on effectively addressing these concerns while demonstrating the administrative and crisis management skills required to lead the Department of Homeland Security. So what is shaking up for Trump 2.0? The picks so far deliver a strong message of Trump being Trump and the deep state being the target. But only time will tell who the real winner is. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.